Sports fans of all ages, live from Rafferty's Treehouse, it's Sports Arena. Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Rafferty's Treehouse, 1888 Main Street in beautiful downtown Sarasota. We are the best pregame show in Florida, the Sports Arena. The entire gang is back. Your man Eric Wilson alongside the great Al Bushman, our girl Kristen, who held it down for us over Thanksgiving weekend, and as always, the most level-headed man in the building, our man Chip, who is still trying to figure out his 4 o'clock game picks.
That's right. No idea what's going on with all the 4 o'clocks, but I'll wait till you. I'll copy off you or maybe make different picks.
That's perfectly fine. We've got intern Byron with us holding the camera for us on Facebook, and we've got Nissa, who is joining us today. Welcome to the team. I'm sorry you have to deal with this dysfunctional bunch, but, you know, you signed up for this. That's all I'm going to say. So how is everybody doing? How we doing?
I'm doing great because Ohio State is the undisputed Big Ten champion, and the rankings are coming out in about 15 minutes here. So
I'm doing horrible because Georgia got killed by LSU, and they're going to fall.
Them yesterday.
That was an uphill game anyways. I know that Georgia, the defense had an opportunity to play a lot better, but Fromm got injured, and there were 7 other players, I think, that ended up getting injured that game. So,
out of you guys, do you think LSU will jump Ohio State?
I don't think so. I think Ohio State will be 1, LSU will remain 2.
I think so as well. I think that it's hard to take the number 1 team that's been number 1 for a couple weeks now out of the number 1 spot when they both won their conference championship game.
Exactly.
And Ohio State came back with a vengeance in that second half. So,
all right, I'm good. I'm excited because we get to witness Eric being kicked in the stomach by a karate kickboxing champion today.
I was wondering if there's a doctor in the house in case there's any internal bleeding.
Did you bring
I think it'll be
extra
okay.
padding?
I did bring extra padding for when this happens. I
Okay,
know
Sid the kid, she is on her way. Her dad just called me up. They'll be here about 12:30.
I'm so
11:30?
excited
12:30.
for this.
Oh,
I'm way more
12:30.
excited than I
Right,
should
it
be.
is noon till the start of the game.
12:30 they will be here, so
Yeah, we'll
end the show a little early.
early.
We'll interview her and her dad, and then we'll make sure that she kicks you square in that stomach.
Maybe she'll kick some sense into him.
Maybe.
Hey, I'm only 3
Maybe.
games back. Speaking of sense, I'm sorry. Which one out of the 4 of us won Thursday Night Football? Oh, that would be this guy.
The only reason you won is because you won't pick the Cowboys, not because there's any skill put into that pick.
Exactly.
Hey.
Exactly.
No, there was some skill behind this one. The Cowboys this season have not beat a team with a 500 or better record. So that is why I picked the Bears. Shame on the 3 of you if you didn't
pick
figure
the
it out.
you didn't pick the Cowboys because you have a hatred of the Cowboys.
Oh, I do hate the
I
Cowboys. but
actually almost wanted to pick the Bears. It was in Chicago. The Cowboys have been so iffy this season. I didn't think they were going to be that bad, and I didn't think Mitchell Trubisky was going to come out playing like Lamar Jackson.
do you owe him an apology, Kristen?
I owe Mitchell
for
Trubisky.
Thursday night. Do you owe him an apology?
I do. I talked trash about him all season, and I think he might have been listening to the show because he wanted to prove me wrong. So
I think a lot of people. I owe him an apology. I thought he was done, but he's looking pretty good.
You know what? I think that was a fluke. I don't think we'll see more of that.
I agree. Are we going to see Taylor Maville today?
No, he's been hiding ever since Miami.
Hiding.
The Hurricanes have been losing. The
Okay.
Cowboys have been losing. No.
Gotcha.
So it's going to be a great show today here at Rafferty's Treehouse. With that being said, let's get to our games.
I know. I kind of missed you guys last week.
Oh, you listen, we
I
missed
just had
you.
to talk to Nick the whole time.
We missed you. But again, thank you for holding it down. And if you guys missed last weekend, Kristen had 2 days here at Rafferty's Treehouse to talk about not only the Ohio State University Buckeyes, but also give her advice on the weekly pick'em. So much so that this girl is still right now 3 games ahead of the rest of the pack.
At the top.
Where she's been for probably 12 out of 14 weeks.
A long
Yes.
time.
Coming for that belt chip.
I got
Don't
it.
get
It's
used
ready.
to it.
Hey, look, I've closed the gap every single week now, 2 weeks in a row. I think I've gained at least a game now.
You and I have
both.
both gained some ground.
Yeah.
So we're creeping up
we
on
still
Eric.
we still got time.
We do,
So
we
look
do.
out.
4 weeks, and we'll start with your game, Chip. It's the 5-7 Carolina Panthers heading to the Atlanta Falcons in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Chip, which Atlanta Falcons team are we going to see today, my friend?
We're going to see a healthier version. We're getting Austin Hooper back. We're getting our first-round draft pick Lindstrom back. And Julio Jones, they said, is a little bit more healthy today. So, as I've said the past couple of weeks, the Falcons have just been awful. You don't know what team you're really getting. They've been inconsistent kind of in most facets. But I think today against the Panthers, you'll see a Falcons team that's almost at full strength. Back towards the beginning of the year where aspirations were higher than where we've ended up. So I'm taking the Falcons. They're a healthier team. Hopefully we get to see kind of what'll ensue.
All right, Kristen, Kyle Allen passed for 278 and 2 touchdowns last week. He did have an interception. but he had his second career rushing touchdown last week. Are you a betting woman that he's going to do more of the same today against Atlanta?
I don't think so because Greg Olsen is out, and he's one of his favorite targets. And with no Greg Olsen, I think he's going to have a tougher day. And it's weird with this NFC South. The Falcons all of a sudden woke up in the last couple of weeks. The Bucs all of a sudden have woken up the last couple of weeks. Imagine if these two teams were playing at this level earlier in the season. The Saints would actually have some competition here. But I do think the Falcons are going to take it today at home in Atlanta there against the Panthers, who are just kind of a little bit of a mess right now. They said they are looking to trade Cam Newton officially today.
Heard
They
that
come
this
out with
morning,
that.
yeah.
I saw that as well.
So I think they're kind of a little bit in disarray. Fired their coach. We do know, though, when a new coach comes in, the team does kind of play a little bit better.
And that's the sole reason why I picked the Panthers today is because usually when a coach gets fired, they rally around the team and they win.
What a great segue into
I
that.
know, that was
Wow.
great. So I have, in fact, picked the Panthers to win on the road today in Atlanta just because of that reason.
I have to side with the great L. Bushman, which I hate when that happens because when him and I pick, usually versus the two of you, it doesn't end up well for him
Well,
and
that's because
I.
we're smarter than you two.
Cheers to us, then. That sounds
Okay,
like a
yeah,
good play.
first and last, and then the two in the middle. But I was going to ask the great L. Bushman, your boy, White Lightning, had 102 scrimmage yards.
That's not my boy.
Okay. You seem to have a love
That's
for
your
him.
boy.
No,
CMC.
you call him CMC
I do
all the
love
time.
I do
That's
love
not
me
my
some
boy,
CMC,
that's your boy.
but I was going to ask you, can we expect more of that today? This man is the fifth running back in NFL history with 3 career seasons of 75-plus receptions.
You're going to see a lot of him today. Like Christian said before, Greg Olsen is out. That's Kyle Allen's number one target. But you do have Curtis Samuel in there as well and DJ Moore. But, yeah, you'll see Christian McCaffrey running a lot against the Atlanta defense. So, yeah, you'll see a lot of him today.
Deep sleeper today, Ian Thomas. He is the tight end that is behind Greg Olsen, as we both know, and as you said, he's utilizes the tight end a lot. Greg Olsen not being there, so I think Ian Thomas, sneaky fantasy play maybe.
Who is the interim coach right now for the Panthers?
I think they're splitting duties. I know Norv Turner is
I believe
doing
that's-
his thing, and
Yep.
also their DC. They're kind of splitting the head coaching duties right
Okay,
now.
so you got an offensive head coach, a defensive
Yeah.
head coach. Maybe that's a new
I
trend we'll
have
see if they
Perry-
win.
That could be a good trend going on.
I
yeah.
have Perry Fewell, Fewell.
Perry
He's the
Fuel?
interim.
I think that's the guy who they have
Perry
as
Fuel.
Perry Fuel as the interim. But you might be right. It might be a split decision between these guys, so we'll see what happens. Let's move on to the next game, and we'll stay in the NFC South. Great L. Bushman, like Kristen was saying, the Bucs have all of a sudden turned around the second half of their season at 5-7. They are hosting a 6-6 Indianapolis Colts, a team that right now within the AFC South, it's pretty much up for grabs. Anybody could come away and win this division. Do the Colts get it done today at Raymond James? Where are you going with this?
No, I'm actually siding with the Bucs. They won last week. They've been kind of playing really good the past couple of weeks, so I'm siding with the Bucs. The defense is really starting to mold together, even though their secondary is really suspect. But the run defense is there. The front seven is really pushing in there, especially they have the top-rated run defense. So going against Marlon Mack and that offense with Jacoby Brissett leading the way. But, T.Y. Hilton is out. The Colts are really banged up, so I think the Bucs are going to get it done at home today. You'll see a lot of Chris Godwin and a lot of Mike Evans, too, today as well.
You don't want to see too much of Chris Godwin because I have him in fantasy and I'm playing against
So
you.
I don't want to see a lot of Chris Godwin today, so I want to see a lot of running.
A lot of Mike Evans.
A lot of Mike Evans. I kind of want to see who Arians is going to stick with the run game. They keep saying week after week Rojo is the main guy, but we saw last week they took him out after one series because he missed a block. So Peyton Barber was the man throughout the way. He had 2 touchdowns. So if they're going to commit to Rojo, they've got to commit to him the whole game. So I think whatever running back tandem we see today, Peyton Barber leading the way with Rojo being the number 2 guy or the vice versa, you'll see a lot of running. But, yeah, hopefully Chris Godwin maybe has less than 100 yards, but the Bucs still win.
Will you quit pounding the table? Gee, you're shaking my drinks and everything.
The
Good Lord.
Colts lead the all-time series between these two teams 8-5, and they've won.
That was when Andrew Luck was quarterback.
And this now wait a minute. They said the all-time series. That could have been
And
when
Peyton
Peyton
Manning.
was
But,
there.
I don't think
So-
they've played since 2011. I think Josh Freeman was the last quarterback of the Bucs to play the
Actually,
Colts.
2015 was the last time they played.
Oh,
It
not
was
in Ray J.
So almost
the Colts.
1,600 days ago.
Last game against at the Ray J
Look at
was
that math.
October 3rd, 2011, and the Bucs did win 24-17.
Well, there you go.
I think Bruce Arians is finally getting to these guys. I think he's a good coach, and these guys are finally realizing it, and that's why. And this is the thing that happens every December. Jameis pulls it together a little bit. He stops throwing the 20 interceptions, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, Jameis is actually good. Wait till next year. It'll be his year. And then he starts terrible again. So
Well, he's probably going to get signed again for probably a 1-year deal. He's probably coming back if he keeps playing the way he's playing. So mistake-free, making good decisions, he'll probably be back. So,
I'm excited about Shaq Barrett. What are they going to do with him? He's got 14.5 sacks right now. He's leading the league, and he's only 2 off of Warren Sapp's franchise record.
Yeah, they've got to make a decision in the offseason about who they're going to bring back. JPP, Ndamukong Suh, Shaq Barrett's going to be a free agent. So all those guys have – they all want to come back. They said they want to come back and play. So either they got to take less money or the Bucs have got to figure it out.
The Bucs do have a lot more cap space going into next year as opposed to this year where they had 0 space. So it'll be a little bit better. But, yeah, if Jameis can maybe take a little bit pay cut on that 1-year deal.
1 year, $10 million. That's all I'm giving. That's all I'm giving Jameis.
Chip, before I go to you with your pick, I want to ask the great Al Bushman. You mentioned Mike Evans. You mentioned Chris Godwin. What about Perryman?
Yeah, he's been sneaky good. I mean, a lot of people wrote him off the first half of the season, and all of a sudden he's been the kind of that slot receiver to go to when Jameis is, they got double covers on both Godwin and Mike Evans. So, yeah, Perryman might be a factor today at home. So, yeah, he might come out swinging.
He was actually that kind of guy for the Browns last year.
He was,
You didn't expect it, and they signed him and then released him, and they signed Odell, I believe, and he's actually a really nice. And he's
when he can catch the ball, he has a trouble with the drop. So, yeah, Eric, good point. You might see a lot of Perryman today.
Chip, what do you think about this? We've talked so much about the Bucs and very little about the Indianapolis Colts. It appears as though right now, over on this side of the table, the Bucs are being the prime choice. Where do you stand?
I mean, I'm going to stick with the Bucs as well. I mean, Jacoby Brissett and everything that's happened with the Colts, they just seem really inconsistent. So with Hilton being out, you still have Pascal, who stepped up and kind of been hot and cold sometimes. So we'll have to see. Getting Mac back for them is going to be a huge boost. I don't know how.
Is he back today?
I think he is back today.
He is active today.
So we'll have to see exactly how effective he is. But I'm going to stick with the Buccaneers.
So Jack Doyle has also been a target for Brissett to go to the past couple of weeks as well. Yeah. So the Bucs need to look out for Jack Doyle.
I mean, Indianapolis has been trending down. They lost 4 of their last 5 and failed to score 20 in their last 3 or 4. So getting those guys back, but no T.Y. Hilton is always a killer for the Colts.
Yep.
No, it is. And the one thing you have to realize is it truly is about the next man up. I can't even keep my papers together here today. But
happens every week, though.
It does.
I figure we'll get it figured out here soon.
We'll get bricks that say Sports Arena on them, people to hold their papers.
I mean, we can turn the fans off.
We should clipboards. We'll have clipboards next week.
Clipboards. I am the lone wolf on this one. I am going to take Indianapolis simply because Kristen's point about Marlon Mack being back, I think it will take him probably a quarter for him to kind of shake off what he hasn't been able to do. But this is a man who I think on the road is aiming for his third 85-plus rushing yards when he's on the road. So that plus, you talked about Jack Doyle. The one guy I want you to remember is the guy who sits behind Marlon Mack and Jonathan Williams. That's Nyheim Hines. Mm-hmm. He's a sleeper. I think if you can pick him up on waivers or maybe daily, Chip, sometimes as you say, I think he might be productive.
I would probably say Williams would be more productive than Hines.
The thing with Hines, though, is he catches the ball a lot more out of the backfield. He can be that receiver kind of, Todd Gurley.
He's a pass running back, yeah.
But, what's amazing with the Colts is they lost Marlon Mack for, 4 or 5 weeks here, and they were the third rushing offense, and they've only fallen 1 spot to the 4th rushing offense. So they've been able to keep it up with Mack being gone, and Mack is a top – I feel bad for you. I traded him to you. And
no, don't feel bad. I'm okay. I'm all right.
All right, so I am the lone man on this one. So let's go to our next game, and it is the 3-9 Miami Dolphins.
I have yet to pick this game. I don't know.
They are heading to the Jets in MetLife Stadium to face the Jets 4-8 New York Jets. Now, no Lev Bell today, but it is December. Miami doesn't like to play in the cold that much. Listen, no one has picked. I've picked the Jets. I picked them to win.
I'll pick when the show's over. I don't know.
Well, I want to go back. I'm going to do a little study of this season and look at these stupid games between Redskins and Dolphins, that losing record games. And I think these are the games that are killing us in our records. These are the hard ones to pick. Yep. I think we're picking the good games right, and these ones. I'm taking the Jets. Sam Darnold, other than last week, has been playing out of his mind the last couple of weeks. They kind of been figuring it out. It is in New York. It's supposed to be a blustery day up in New York.
Very cold.
Yeah, and I don't know why Miami keeps trying to win. Also, I don't know what they're doing there.
Well, because Cincinnati finally won their first game, albeit to the Jets. The Jets gave Miami their first win and also gave the Bengals their first win. So, I mean, now the Miami's like, well, we know we're not going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. That's definitely going to be the Cincinnati Bengals. So, I mean, 2 is still a good spot for us to be. We can hang around up there. I mean, they're going to get a top 3 draft pick regardless.
That's true. And like we said last week, I think me and Nick were actually talking about it. You guys weren't here. Guys don't want to lose. Guys don't want to tank. Sure, ownership, maybe the front office wants that, but these guys want to play. They're playing for contracts. They're playing to be on a new team, so they're not trying to tank.
Well, they're professionals, and they all have incentives, and they have things in their contract that once they hit certain markers and yards or catches or rushes, they make more money. So they're definitely incentivized to continue to play and put their best foot forward.
Yeah, they all made.
Evan,
they
go
all
ahead and
made
take the Jets.
They all made a lot
I
of
don't
money
wanna take
last
the
week.
Evan, take the Jets.
I don't know
so
who
I
I'm
can
taking
take
yet.
the Dolphins.
I walk in today, and the first thing Chip said to me is, "Take the Jets." He said hello first, and then he said,
I said
"Take the
hello."
Jets," and then he said,
I mean,
"Take
the
the
way
Jets."
Miami looked last week playing Eric's Eagles, and I'm sure you were seething in the press box, was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
That trick play
That was
will
awesome.
haunt me forever and a day. A punter to a kicker on a fake field goal.
I tell you what,
just-
I'll pick the Jets because I know Chippy here wants to.
Good.
Wants to pick.
Thank
give me the
God.
mark. I'll pick
Stop
the Jets.
strong arming us into picks.
Why? It's the only way I can
Yeah,
gain
give me
games.
the marker. I'll pick
All
the
right, here.
Jets.
Well, then I'll take the Dolphins, and
'Cause the
I
Jet-
want you to highlight this first.
I'm going to highlight it.
There you go.
Because the Jets are at home. Dolphins don't play well in the cold, so there we go.
I think that the Dolphins over the past couple of weeks, you discover what it is to have a young team, and you get your mindset on winning football games. The spread against Philadelphia was 10 points, and the Dolphins pretty much controlled that football game, and they had to make big plays, and they had to convert, and
No,
they
no, no.
did
No, no.
things.
They didn't have to make big plays. You know what they had to do, Chip?
Tell me.
When they saw Jalen Mills on Devontae Parker,
Well,
Fitzpatrick just threw it up
they
in the
had
air
to-
and said, Devontae, go get it. That's what
Well,
happened.
there's skill to that as well. So I think that the guys behind me believe in us, and that's why they're revving their engines because they know Jamal Adams is out for the Dolphins, or excuse me, the Jets. So Pro Bowl safety going to be out. Running back is out. That offense is going to sputter, I think, as far as to find an identity, and that's why I think the Dolphins win.
All right, fair enough. Let's go to a very interesting game. Two teams at 10-2. This could be a potential NFC matchup. It is the New Orleans Saints hosting Jimmy Garoppolo and the San Francisco 49ers. So the question simply is, both of these teams we know are playoff bound. Which team gets it done today and goes 11-2?
Kittle, bits and bits and bits. Give me some George Kittle today and give me a lot of it. I think that the Niners are going to come off, a disappointing loss to the Ravens, but they hung in there the entire game. And I think that the Saints are missing two of their starting linebackers, which means they only have Demario Davis. So he is going to have to shadow and either stay in the box or get after Kittle, which is going to open up Emmanuel Sanders or Deebo Samuel. So you can't cover two guys with one guy. So I know Lattimore will be in today, and he'll shadow one of those, but I just think the 49ers are really starting to click on all cylinders. Even though they lost that game, I feel like that probably as a team brought them closer together, and I think they go into the house of the Saints and kick their butt.
I'm really interested in seeing the matchup between Michael Thomas and Richard Sherman today.
There you go.
That's going to be fantastic. Michael Thomas is averaging over 9.7 yards per catch.
From the Ohio State University.
Around the whatever. So that's going to be a matchup to see today. Drew Brees has been slinging it. The one thing I think what's going to really matter between these two teams is who's going to get the run game going first.
And I'm glad you
Yeah.
brought that up because I was going to go to our fantasy girl and say, Kristen, on one hand, you've got Raheem Mostert, and
He's
you've
worried
got,
about Alvin Kamara because Alvin Kamara hasn't scored in the past couple weeks.
you
and
got
he's got him on his
Tevin
fantasy
Coleman,
team.
and on the other side, you've got Alvin Kamara. From a fantasy perspective, who do you feel is going to have a bigger day?
Well, I'm going to go with Kamara on this because I was looking at the stats, and 49ers are so balanced that all of their three running backs have around 500 to 600 yards. All of their three receivers, including Sanders, who they got midway through
Yep.
the season, have about 500 to 600 yards. So nobody's hitting that 1,000-yard mark, but they're distributing the ball evenly to their three receivers, to their three running backs. Alvin Kamara is going to get the rock every single time. We know Latavius Murray is not Mark Ingram. So I'm going with the Saints in this one. Because all of you picked the 49ers, and I really do think, the 49ers kept up with the Ravens, and I don't think the Saints are half the offense the Ravens are. But Sean Payton is really good in New Orleans. They're really good at home. Jimmy G, it's weird when you look at his history. He's played so sporadically and been hurt a lot, and, he doesn't have a lot of games in domes. There's not a lot of, historical stats to look up on this guy. But he's kind of like a Brad Johnson or a Trent Dilfer to me right now. I don't think he's that great. I think
Who've
he's
won Super Bowls.
Yeah, I think he's I just think he's kind of managing this offense. But
I think that's what you need, though. You need a guy that's going to manage the clock and also the ball, too. That way, you don't need Garoppolo to be flashy. He doesn't have to be Tom Brady 2.0. He just has to be a guy that can manage the team well.
Yeah, and he's he's doing well. He's about the 12th, 13th rated quarterback.
Sounds like you want to change your pick to the 49ers.
Because on the other side of the ball, they have a guy named Drew Brees, and I know he's down. He's like a Tom Brady this year. He's regressing with age. He's down about 30 yards per game passing right now of his career average. But there's a guy named Taysom Hill who you cannot game plan for this guy. You don't know if he's going to catch it. He might kick it. He might throw it. He might block
He's cheerleading
a kick.
today, by the way. way. He's cheerleading, and he's also coaching today.
He's like a Swiss Army
announcing
knife.
the game
He's
as well.
announcing the game while in playing, yes.
He's a Swiss Army knife. You
And
put him anywhere, and he does something.
And I think Sean Payton tries to confuse this defense by throwing him all over that field. And I think he's going to be your X factor like he's been the last couple of weeks. And he's been saving the Saints season since Drew Brees has come back. So I'm taking the Saints.
Well,
Also,
all right.
out of the first 4 picks that we've done so far here today at Rafferty's, 3 out of the 4 of us are lone wolves. I have the Colts, where everybody else has the Bucks. Chip has the Dolphins. Everybody else has the Jets. And Kristen is taking the Saints, or the rest of us, the 3 of us gentlemen here, and I use that term loosely, are taking the 49ers. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the rest of this plays out. Let's take our first break. When we come back, we're definitely going to go through the rest of the 1 o'clock games. Chip hopefully will have some semblance of where he wants to go with this 4 o'clock games.
Maybe not.
But you are listening to the best pregame show in Florida. We are here live at Rafferty's, the Sports Arena. We'll be back in a moment. Hey, join us every Sunday right here at Rafferty's from noon to 1 for the best pregame show in Florida, the Sports Arena. Sports Arena live here at Rafferty's Treehouse, 1888 Main Street in beautiful downtown Sarasota for Week 14 in the NFL. Chip had a very interesting statistic. When he puts Kristen in his Facebook Live
social media feed,
his numbers jump from 250 to 750.
Spike.
This is also the same girl who, right before she goes to work at the Lombo Key Country Club, does a ode to Urban Meyer and gets 500 views in 2 hours.
Yes.
So, Kristen, we can just say it's you, not
I know
us.
why you guys hired me. I know nothing about sports, but we get more views. So.
There we go.
Yes. So let's move on to the next game. It is an NFC North divisional matchup between the 3-8-1 Detroit Lions, the internet sensation of 2019. Steve,
What is that? It smells like fish and chips or something.
Something does smell good here at Rafferty's.
Down
Get your
here at
butt down
Rafferty's.
here,
Come
people.
on down.
They are facing Kirk Cousins, Great Al Bushman's favorite quarterback, and the
Captain
8-4
Kirk, man.
Minnesota Vikings.
You're welcome, by the way, Kristen.
Why?
Because last week, Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk.
Yeah, he scored, and you were like, "Oh, I need you to win."
Oh, yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah, that's
welcome.
right. We were doing the group message.
Yeah,
I already
you're
forgot.
welcome.
I was like, what?
Lions Vikings. So David Blau
Oh, we got a last name right.
passed
Blau.
for 280 and 2 touchdowns and an interception in his first career start last week. Can the Detroit Lions, well, not can they, we know they can. Will the Detroit Lions go into US Bank Stadium today and beat the potential wild card coming out of the NFC North, Minnesota Vikings? Let me ask you guys that question.
I'm going to go ahead and start with no.
I think they're actually the NFC North leader right now. They're
There
like
you go.
the 2 or 3 seed.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, the Packers are chasing them. Right now they are the number 1 seed in it.
There you go.
Or no, they are the wild card. You're right. I'm sorry. It's Seahawks and Saints are the highest. You're right.
Okay.
So
They're the 6th seed.
I'm going to stick with the Vikings on this one.
All right.
Dalvin Cook is healthy-ish, but Madsen is behind him, so I think that you'll see Dalvin Cook will probably get limited snaps. I think if you're the Vikings, you rest your best asset.
Smart.
Yeah,
Smart
Adam
move.
Thielen obviously is not back from his injury. Diggs will be the only one playing today. So we'll have to see how that pans out, but I think the Vikings win this one.
Yeah, I don't see David Blau having another game like last week. We see this, new quarterback comes in, nobody knows how he plays, nobody knows his style, you have no film. The Vikings studied film on him last week. I don't think that, Detroit, they had flashes of greatness a little bit earlier this season. I think I picked their 3 wins that they did have, but, with that Stafford injury, and I do feel bad because Marvin Jones and Kenny Galladay, no matter who they're playing with, are having good seasons.
Both great receivers. Yeah.
So, but I'm taking Vikings this one. I don't think the Lions have a chance at all.
Yeah, I'm taking the Vikings as well. One guy that's really stepped up to kind of fill in for Thielen is Kyle Rudolph.
Oh, yeah.
Who was really silent the first half of the season. Once Thielen went down, he's been that number 2 guy to go to for Captain Kirk, as I like to call him now. So, yeah, Chip, I do agree with you about the split carries between Alexander Madison and also Dalvin Cook. They really need to be careful with Dalvin Cook because if he does get seriously injured at this game, the run game's going to be really hurt for the rest of the way going into the playoffs. One thing I've got a really question mark about is what's happened to Xavier Rhodes? He has looked
He got his money and then just fell off.
He has looked terrible in the secondary. I think that's something that the Detroit Lions can expose today with Kenny Galladay creeping up to a 1,000-yard season this year for passing yards. So
Breaking news: LSU
ESPN
did
just-
take number 1.
boom, I
Yeah.
called
There you
it.
go.
Me and
Yeah.
Steve called it.
LSU does get
LSU?
number one.
Me
Wow.
and Steve called it this morning. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I've got the Vikings winning at home against the Lions.
All right, unanimous decision across the board. We are all taking
and if
the
anyone cares, I
Vikings.
guess Oklahoma is your number 4 team. So
we
you're gonna
we all
have-
knew that was going to
Yeah,
happen.
so you're going to have Ohio State versus Clemson, which nobody wants to play. That's going to be an awesome game, and
That's
it's not
gonna
going
be
to
a
be
really good
28 to
game.
nothing like last time. And then you're going to have LSU
Super
versus
Ohio,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
So all these transfer quarterbacks, 3 of the 4 transfer quarterbacks are Jalen Hurts,
Hold up.
Joe Burrow, and Justin Fields playing in that.
Yep.
So
That's what happens.
College football championship has been set. It's going to be interesting to see come January. I guess it's like, what, the 9th or whatever it is?
December 28th is the semis.
The semis,
So that's
okay.
when those games will happen, and then after the new
what
year.
day of the week is that?
28th.
Is Saturday?
Christmas is on a Wednesday. That's the 25th.
So it's a Saturday.
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 All right, maybe we'll do a show.
Yeah, maybe
There we go.
We could do one. Yeah.
Well, we'll do a live show here at Rafferty's. I mean, we already do one on 1070 The Zone every Saturday. So
That's true.
we can do one.
All right.
All right.
All right.
So we're all Vikings.
Decided.
We're all
Well,
Vikings.
Everybody,
It is decided.
there you go.
Yes, we're all Vikings. So let's go on to our next game, and it is the 4-8 Denver Broncos with Drew Lock facing the 8-4 Houston Texans, coming off their tremendous victory against New England this past Sunday night. Sunday night.
Yeah, who picked that? Me.
Kristen?
I did.
I picked the Texans.
No,
did?
no, you did not.
I
Kristen
did.
picked the Texans.
You sure?
I'm absolutely positive.
Me too. Yeah.
We
Remember that
all
one
took-
moment
we all
when
took
you
the
think you're
Patriots?
cool,
I-
and then everybody tells
I
you
thought I
you're
picked
not
the
cool?
Let's go back to the tape.
We
I
will
know
go
you
back
want
to the
me,
tape, sir.
I'll look. I'll look at this.
Please feel free.
I will. You
'Cause-
guys keep going. I'm going to look at this.
All right, keep looking. But yes. So, Kristen, the Houston Texans 8-4, hosting the Denver Broncos. I mean, what do you, as the only Texans smart woman up here, what do you expect today with does Denver have a chance?
No, the Texans are at home. They have a chance right now to run away with the South. If they win today, I think that there's a hard chance that anyone takes the AFC South from them. So, no Will Fuller today. He is out, but I don't think that Broncos defense, the Broncos, they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to get it together. They're an average team. I think the Texans at home are playing for a top seed in the playoffs right now, and they're going to get it done with Deshaun Watson.
We'll see what the story is. Denver obviously has been shuffling quarterbacks, ever since Flacco has been gone. So they still have to figure things out. We know Peyton Manning obviously has a hard time finding quarterbacks. So who knows? We'll see. But, yeah, Texans win.
I've got the Texans as well.
I've got
in
the
this.
Texans in this one, too.
Straight
Who did
sweep
you have last
again.
week?
2 sweeps. All right.
All right.
Let's go on to the next game, and this is a game I think that has another major
And that was John Elway. That's what I meant to say. Why did I say Peyton Manning?
because he
But
used to
they've been
play for
shuffling
Yeah,
quarterbacks
that's why-
since
that's
Peyton
why I
Manning.
said-
That's
yeah.
what you're probably thinking.
That's what I was. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Since
Thank you.
Peyton left, they've been shuffling. So.
Yes.
So, Lamar Jackson at 10-2, who is just MVP and kind of the only man close to catching him, I think, is Russell Wilson. They are now going to New Era Field to face the 9-3 Buffalo Bills, a team that, if New England loses one more, the Week 17 matchup between New England and Buffalo could
Settle,
determine
yeah.
who wins the AFC East. So today, does Baltimore get it done, or does Buffalo hold their own at home and give Baltimore their third loss?
This game's going to be awesome. It is, I think, completely underrated. The Bills are never sexy. The Bills are never must-watch television. Josh Allen is good, guys. He is a lot. But Bills are 11-0 when he completes 60% or more of his passes, which isn't a huge number. That's an average quarterback number there. They have the number 3 overall defense, and they have their best record for 12 games since 1996. So this Bills team is no joke. Their secondary is really good. You got Tremaine Edwards and Tre'Davious White. Am I saying their names right?
Yeah,
Did I mix
you're-
that
yep,
up?
yep.
I know they both start with T. And, Cole Beasley is the guy that he was supposed to be in Dallas. He's finally showing up for the Bills today. So you have the number 1 rush offense versus the number 5 rush offense right now. I just think that the Bills might get this one done. It's going to be a very blustery day in Buffalo. They're expecting up to 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts, so you're going to see a lot on the ground, and you got great running game on both sides of the ball. I think Devin Singletary is your X factor here. If Baltimore cannot contain him, then I think that I'm taking the Bills in this one. I think that the Ravens are due for an upset. I think they're looking forward to the playoffs. They're kind of looking ahead, and I think the Bills is the one team that can do that.
Damn it, Kristen. You took my thunder because that's what I was going with. And here's my stat, what I told you guys before we came on here live today at Rafferty's. Since 1999, when these two teams have played each other, the home team has won the last 7 meetings. It was for that reason I am also taking the Buffalo Bills.
Man,
Don't
I
be
thought I was gonna go
surprised.
lone wolf.
Don't be surprised if Micah Hyde finds a way to come away with at least one interception from Lamar Jackson today.
I've got the Ravens, and I know Chip's got the Ravens in this one too. I'm assuming,
Yes, I
correct?
Steal Chip's thunder.
I know, right?
Oh, no, go ahead, please.
I think this is all going to come down to the run game for both teams. They've got really good running backs. Devin Singletary has been a breath of fresh air in that backfield for the Bills. And then Mark Ingram, who the Saints are wishing they probably had him by now.
Great fantasy pickup this
Yes.
year, by the way.
I'm glad I traded for him in my fantasy league. But yeah, I think it all comes down to the run game. It is going to be windy outside, so the passing game is going to be really difficult today. It's also the kicking game as well. The Baltimore Ravens have averaged over 400 yards and 36 points in the past 7 games. Think about that. But I've got the Ravens on the road, though.
Yeah, the ones that I do. Sorry, I don't mean to. I know you want to talk. The Bills have only one of their 9 wins comes versus teams with winning records. The Ravens are 6-1 versus teams with winning records. They're only lost to the Chiefs. So.
And that's the Thunder right there. That's what I think. I mean, Baltimore.
The Thunder steal.
Chip, I didn't steal your thunder. Remember
No. I mean, Baltimore. I think when you look at the schedules and you look at the level of competition, and we say the Patriots all the time in a weak conference, and they never really have a strong schedule as well. So I just think the Ravens are going to end up in the Super Bowl. Personally, I just think they're already there. So I think this one's not close. I think they run this one running away, personally.
All right, well, we are split down the middle, 2 for the Buffalo Bills and 2 for the Baltimore Ravens. Kristen, you doggone Cleveland Browns.
I'm scared.
Still in the hunt.
If we
5 and
win
7.
the last 4, which one is against, we had 2 against Cincinnati, but we got 1 against Baltimore there, who we've already beaten this year.
Right.
So
There you go.
Right.
I mean, we are one of those 2 losses for Baltimore, but it is a must-win in the next 4. They lost the Steelers and Duck Hodges last week. Duck Hodges is actually not playing great, but he's winning games, so he's doing it for the Steelers right now. But the Bengals are getting John Ross back, so that is a good thing. But I just think that between Chubb and Hunt, they're going to gash this run defense. The Bengals defense is so porous, so I think it's going to be a lot on the ground. Baker Mayfield is dealing with a bruised hand right now. Was limited. Odell's got a sports hernia as well, and he's going to be having surgery. He's going to play today, but I don't know how you play as an NFL wide receiver with a sports hernia.
Lots and lots of Vicodin.
Yeah,
There
I
you
guess
go.
so.
Lots.
Is
So-
anybody taking the Bengals?
I mean,
I have the
Okay.
Browns
I
highlighted,
could
but
see
with
us-
so
I
many
could see us
many
losing.
injuries, like if you're a quarterback and you injure your hand, imagine you're in a car and you have a flat tire. You don't go anywhere. Your hand grips the ball, and that's how you throw. So I mean, it really depends upon how bad that injury really is, and we don't really know. We know he's playing, but we don't know. Can he really grip a football? I mean, can he really make good throws?
I'm going to
I
say
don't
a
know.
one-handed Baker Baker could beat the Bengals with one hand tied behind his back.
Wow.
There we go.
Well, we're going to see that firsthand today. All right, well then, across the board.
I'm riding with the Browns. L. Bushman, are you going to stay with the Browns or are you going Bengals?
No, I'm going with the Browns.
Okay.
All right. Let's do our last 1 o'clock game here. And since this is a Packer bar, we have the 3-9 Washington Redskins heading to Lambeau to face the 9-3 and NFC North, pretty much playoff team in the Green Bay Packers.
We do have one Redskins fan in
We have a
here, I
lone
see.
Redskins fan
We have
here.
a lone Redskins fan in the building. Wow.
But we're not supposed to draw attention to her mother. Oh, and her daughter's a Packers fan. So
All right.
this is a house divided today.
Uh-oh.
It truly is. So, Kristen, Dwayne Haskins, Terry McLaurin, the Ohio State University.
They're probably feeling good today. Maybe a little too good. Maybe
right.
a little headaches for them because the thing is, the Redskins could have the number 4 pick in the draft and also could make the playoffs and win the NFC East. This is
That's
crazy.
how-
You mean
That's how
the
bad
NFC,
Eric's
the
division
NFC least is what we should call it,
I
maybe?
mean, which
NFC
well,
worse.
your team is part of it. So, but I do not see them going into Lambeau and doing anything. I think it's going to be a disaster for the Redskins today. The Packers really, really need to. I don't want to say right the ship, but get it together. They haven't been playing. They have are ranked in the 20th and all the categories, offensive, defensively, and that's not the Packers team that we know with Aaron Rodgers. So I think this is a good game for them to right the ship, get on that level. I think Dwayne Haskins is going to be sacked a lot, but the Smith brothers out there today.
All right, how many? All right, fine. Now the question is, I'll put it at 3. Over under Dwayne Haskins on 3 sacks. Over under.
I'm going over.
Over.
I think right at.
Right at
Or
3.
over, yeah. Right at 3.
Okay. All right. We'll see. 10. Who said 10? Is he even going to get on the
Well,
field?
I
What's
mean,
he
the
going to trip
offensive
over
line
himself?
literally runs and hides.
Eric, your destiny awaits. Sid the Kid has just walked in.
There we go.
Oh,
Your
our
punishment
special
will
guest.
be coming soon, so your destiny has arrived.
Thank you, Great L. Bushman, for that one. I appreciate it. All right,
As
across.
Thanos would say, she is inevitable, and then snap.
That's right.
Across the board, we are picking Green Bay on this one. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll do the 4 o'clock games and, of course, the Sunday Night Football matchup.
And, of
Folks,
course, Eric getting kicked in the stomach
and
by
of course,
Sid the
Eric
Kid.
getting kicked in
They
the stomach.
kickbacking
Yes.
champion.
You do not want to miss that. Join the best damn pregame show in Florida, the Sports Arena, live at Rafferty's. Back in a moment. Hey, join us every Sunday right here at Rafferty's from noon to 1 for the best pregame show in Florida, Sports Arena.
Not shut up anywhere. I mean, I like him. He's on my team. If he catches touchdown, he's on my fantasy team, too.
Do Antonio Brown and OBJ live together?
Would that be a great reality show?
That would be a great reality show.
I mean, we could put like T.O. in there. Maybe some Des Bryant.
And then
Tio
Ocho
and
Cinco.
Ocho Cinco all in the
my
same
God.
house. Oh,
A
Like-
house
like-
to forget.
It's like
Bryant.
the real wide receivers of the NFL.
There you go. We should make that parody. That might happen. Oh, I'm
it might
serious.
happen.
We
The
need to make that
divas of
parody.
the NFL.
I mean,
Yes.
bravo, do I have a show idea for you?
Yeah. NFL Network, you need to call us. We got this one. All right. The game that has probably been the hardest for most of us here to pick today. 2 teams that are 4-8. Minshew Mania is back, facing Phillip Rivers and the Los Angeles Chargers. Nick Foles has been benched. I have not picked this game. I don't believe
I don't
Chip
think anyone has.
has picked it.
I
so
picked it.
You picked it. All right, then
picked
we're
it.
starting
Start
with
off the
you, Grado
games.
Bushman. What's going on today in Jacksonville?
I was on the fence about this game. I don't know. After seeing the Jags, one thing the Jags got to really figure out is what are they going to do with Nick Foles?
Yeah.
Because that's a huge
$50
Philadelphia,
million.
It's a huge
Philadelphia
$1 million
might want him
problem.
back.
Maybe Philadelphia does want him back.
I mean, that's the only place he plays good at.
Yeah.
So if they release him outright, they have to eat $34 million.
What did he play? 1 game in 1 quarter?
I think so.
Yeah.
I got the Chargers in this one. I think the talent is really mediocre at best on both sides of the ball. Phillip Rivers, I think, maybe will play his last season in L.A. and maybe go somewhere else after the season's over with. It
All
could
right.
happen.
Kristen,
We talked about this,
you're
yesterday.
leading the pack here against all of us. So who do you got in this
I
game?
think I'm taking the Jags this one. I haven't circled
Good,
anything,
take it.
but
I
I'm
don't-
taking
I
it.
don't care. Take
You know,
this
Minshew
one.
Mania is going to reignite that spark. Him and DJ Chark have a great chemistry. When Foles
Yep.
was out there, Chark had a bad game. It's just a more balanced offense, and the Chargers just can't win, especially on the road. They don't lose by a lot. I think this is going to be a 1, 2, 3 point game, but the Chargers just can't get it done, and I don't know what the problem is with them because they have all the talent in the world. You got Keenan Allen, you have Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler. You have 2 great running backs. It's just I don't know what it is. Great defense too. So for some reason the Chargers can't get done. Picking the Jags in Jacksonville.
Well, that's enough for me. I'm taking the Jaguars. Chip, you like to go last before you make
I
your
am.
decision. You've heard from all of us, my friend.
I have.
Who are you taking?
I'm going to take the Chargers, even
Wow.
though Phillip Rivers, I mean, I just can't. I don't understand what he's doing as far as quarterbacking, but I think they rely on Eckler, and I think you see Melvin. I think you see a lot of him today as well. So we'll see what the story is. Hopefully Bosa and the other, San Diego defensive players can step up. Derwin James is second game back. Hopefully he'll start to turn it up a little bit. So we'll see, but go Chargers.
All right, let's go on to the next game. It is the 7-5 Steelers, a team who at the beginning of the season we thought would be a mere shell of themselves, have turned it around this second half. They are going to State Farm Stadium, not to face Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes, but to face Kyler Murray and the 3-8-1 Arizona Cardinals. I'm taking the Steelers on this one only because I feel like Delvin Hodges, and even though Connor...
Duck.
Huh?
Call him Duck.
Come Duck.
Call him Duck.
Quack, quack.
Dog?
Duck.
Duck.
Oh,
His
Duck.
nickname's Duck.
Sorry.
Named
Duck Hodges.
Dodgers of the 21st and a half century.
I think Duck Hodges, is able to. He's kind of kept this team afloat, if you will. You lost Ben Roethlisberger, Mason Rudolph.
Let's-
only knows where he
I
is.
think Mike Tomlin has kept this team afloat with all the patchwork they've done to replace wide receivers and
Yep.
running back. Mike Tomlin should be up for Coach of the Year, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, handling that fight and the way he handled it and with such class, and our coach Freddie Kitchens did not, which is embarrassing, and hopefully that gives him a reason to fire him. But yeah, the Mike Tomlin's been doing a great job. You see, they were a shell themselves early. They're a shell themselves now. No James Conner. No, you don't have your starting running back. You don't have your starting receiver. Plus the 2 you lost from last year, and you're on your 3rd string quarterback. going to the West Coast against the Cardinals and Cliff Kingsbury, who I think has been coaching great. I'm taking Arizona on this one. I just don't think Doug Hodges gets it done 4 weeks in a row.
All
Never
right.
know.
Great old Bushman, who you got?
I've got the Steelers on the road in this one. You'll see a lot of Benny Snell Jr., who's been leading that running back tandem in the backfield, so you'll see a lot of him. And then, I think this will be a battle of the ground because, honestly, I mean, Arizona's got a three-headed – I wouldn't even call it monster of a backfield.
It's like a three-headed,
three-headed puppies. It's three-headed puppies in the backfield.
Like a mid-sized dog.
Yeah, Steelers are going to be without Maurice Pouncey too as well. So it's going to be a really ugly, sloppy game. But I've got Steelers. I think what Mike Tomlin's done has really reshaping the Steelers organization just to rally behind him because of all the patchwork they've had to do.
And it's funny because they were talking about firing him, not the Steelers, but people were saying, is he on the hot seat earlier in the season? And the Steelers know what they're doing. They hire coaches. They've had 3 in like 40 years. So.
Yeah.
Chip, who you got?
Steelers.
All right.
We've covered all the high points, I think, and go Steelers, go.
Kristen, right now you have 2 picks where you are the lone wolf.
Well, that's because I'm the smartest.
We'll see.
That's debatable. I mean, as of right now, yes, we'd have to say out of the 4
Yes,
of us up
so
here,
far,
yes.
she is trending upwards.
Let's talk about 2 teams next that are going in upward trajectories. One being the Tennessee Titans at 7-5 with Ryan Tannehill, not Marcus Mariota.
Who the Titans have said they want to work out a long-term deal with Ryan Tannehill. They do not want to franchise tag him.
As I said yesterday on the air on 1070, I think Tannehill is the new direction for the Titans. You focus your offense around Derrick Henry, and then you move forward. So that's good to hear.
Facing Derek Carr and the 6-6 Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders playing one of their last, I believe, 2 games in the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. So I think they're going to go out with a bang here. I will go first. I asked the owner of Rafferty's, Carl, since he is a Raiders fan, I asked him this morning about this, and he said, you know what? Remember when the Raiders were supposed to lose in London and they wound up just dominating? He had that feeling then. He has that feeling now. I'm riding with Carl and the Raiders today.
Yeah, I don't think – Tennessee's been playing great. Their defense has been playing great. Derrick Henry's been playing on his mind this year.
Yep.
I just think that they're not – they're bound for a loss, too, kind of like the Ravens right now. I think they're going to the West Coast. The Raiders are going to be up for this game, second to last home game in Oakland. After that spanking by the Jets a few weeks ago, I think it really opened up their eyes there, so I'm going to expect a big game. Josh Jacobs versus Derrick Henry is going to be awesome, but I think Oakland gets it done at home. I don't see Tennessee going all the way to the West Coast and winning this game when they're, it's just they're bound for a loss.
Speak of the devil, Josh Jacobs is actually a game-time decision with a shoulder.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's
could
so
we
change
don't
Will
that.
know.
Fuller is out.
Will Fuller is
Hollywood
out.
Brown for the Raiders is in. And Frank Clark for the Kansas City Chiefs, which is our next game, is a game-time decision.
So
Chip, L. Bushman, who you like in this? Titans or Raiders?
I've got the Titans in this one. I really like the relationship A.J. Brown and Ryan Tannehill have, quarterback and wide receiver. You'll see a lot of Derrick Henry today. The Titans defense ranks 7th in the NFL in scoring. 7th.
You know what? This week may be the differential week in our picks because there is a lot. I'm looking at you, a lot of different picks here
We only
today.
have 4 picks so far that are unanimous. We've got
like
3 that are split. Kristen so far has 2 where she's a lone wolf. Chip has 1. I have 1. Chip, who you taking? Titans, Raiders?
I'm going to take the Titans on this one
Another
just
split
because of
decision.
Josh. Yeah, just because of Josh Jacobs. If you're a running back and your shoulder's hurt, the constant impact is on the top right up here, so you're not going to be able to stay in a whole game potentially. And if you're a game-time decision, that means you really don't know if that player is up to going the whole game.
I kind of need him to play, though.
Well, for
Fantasy
fantasy
reasons. I kind of need him to play.
So, I don't know. We'll see. He's gutted it out a couple of games. It's still been really productive. So, we'll see what happens, but I'm going to stick with the Titans.
All right.
All right, let's go on to the next one. It is the 8-4 Kansas City Chiefs. Kristen's Lord and Savior, future Hall of Famer Patrick Javon Mahomes III. Heading
Good job. Wow.
Eric, no, I don't want to
Close
cut
on
the last 2 games short. We do have to bring our guest up
Okay.
so
Yeah.
you can interview her, then get kicked in the stomach.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right, so
let's
then
pick up ass.
Let's pick 'em and let's bring
8-4
our guest
versus
up here.
10-2. I'm taking New England at home.
I'm going with the Chiefs today. I think it's a bigger win than you think. Tom Brady is finally going to have to come back from a big deficit, and he's not going to be able to do it with just Julian Edelman.
Yeah, I'm picking the Chiefs on the road. The Patriots' offense just looks terrible. Terrible.
I can't believe I'm about to say this. I'm taking the Chiefs, too. Now I'm taking the Chiefs as well.
There you go.
Just practice.
So, yeah,
All
Chiefs
right.
as well.
I am the lone wolf on this one. So the last game, the Sunday night game, which normally I would look at this game and say to myself, divisional matchup, anything's possible, throw the rule book out the window. It is the 10-2 Seattle Seahawks heading to the 7-5 Los Angeles Rams. Russell Wilson's running away with this, trying to catch Lamar Jackson for MVP. I got the 12 in the Coliseum, Seattle.
I've got the Seahawks on the road.
I'm taking the Seahawks too. Jared Goff is expected a lot of fantasy points today, and I benched him because I think it's one of those games where he's going to have like -4.
Then I'm taking the Rams and laughing the entire time to gain ground.
Didn't you drop Jared Goff in fantasy?
Yes, I did.
And he had a great game last week, but the week before he literally, I think, had negative points. And so I'm going
Chip
with Josh
is the
Allen.
lone wolf.
Lone Wolf, Rams are favored at home, divisional game. Anything can happen.
All right. That's going to do it for us. Let's go ahead and bring up Sid the Kid up here so we can have her
real
for a
quick,
few moments.
Brian has a real recap of Thursday night, real fast.
Okay.
Go,
It's on.
go Bears, and Trubisky throws the ball to the 30-yard line. Go Bears.
There it is. All right. Yeah, she can sit here. That's fine.
Welcome,
Dad, you want to
Sid.
come up too?
So, ladies and gentlemen, a young lady by the name of Sid the Kid is going to be joining us here for a few moments before she kicks me in the stomach.
Sid, how old are you?
I'm 11.
Eric is about to get his butt whooped by this
Hold on.
11-year-old girl.
Hold on. I'm not going to get my butt whooped.
Yes, you
Okay,
are.
she's going to kick me in the stomach.
Yeah, it's
part
going
of
to
my
whoop your
punishment.
butt.
All right. So Sid, let me. Yeah, thank you. We'll give this to her. Sid, let me ask you a question. How long have you been doing this?
Almost 4 years.
So since you were 7 years old, you have been a kickboxer. What made you want to get into
Karate.
this
Karate.
sport? Karate. Excuse
Karate.
me. What made you want to get into this sport?
I was watching the UFC with my parents one time, and I liked what they were doing, so I just wanted to start doing it and doing what they were doing.
So now, 4 years later, you are an international kickboxer. Is that correct?
Yes.
How many, I guess, tournaments would it be? How many tournaments have you won? That many, huh? Okay.
She's probably won a lot of tournaments. We, at one point last year, were on the road 9 weekends in a row, did different tournaments all over the United States. She won 6 gold medals with Team USA for the International Sport Karate Association in Jamaica. And we just got back from Niagara Falls for the World Kickboxing Commission Team USA, where she took 5 medals out of 7 divisions she entered.
Y'all put this little girl. What were y'all thinking when you did this? That's what I want to know. For real? For real? You got a gold medal kickboxer going to kick my 43-year-old flabby self in the. Really? Great L. Bushman, I am coming to get you for this one. All right. So my question is, with the Summer Olympics around the corner in 2020, will you be competing in that? No.
No, she's definitely not old enough yet to be. And then also the amount of training and competition for those athletes that are going to be competing. I mean, they're the top of the world, some of the best you're ever going to see at what they do. They've been doing it for 15, 20 years, constantly, day after day, hour after hour. So that's a goal of hers. At some point, it'll be down the road for sure.
Okay, so you're 11 right now. So let's see, figure 21 to 10 years. So about 2032. We're going to be seeing Sid the Kid in the Olympics. Is that somewhere around where you kind of figure you're going to be at?
Most likely.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get this show on the road. I actually have to put some padding on because I'm not going to let you just kick me. I'm sorry. So give me a minute. But, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Sid the Kid, international kickboxer. Please look out for her in the next couple of years. And also, where can people watch some of these events and tournaments that you're in now? Is there a spot on social media or somewhere where we can follow you?
Yeah, no, her social media is for Facebook, where we post a lot of her stuff. She also has a fan page on Facebook as well. It's Sid the Kid Paratiaco. Also, there are some really great media outlets that have really come alive in the sport karate world. There's one called Point Fighter Radio that's based out of Miami. Covers every single tournament that they rate as a quality tournament across the country. Then there's a sportsmartialarts.com. They also cover all of these tournaments all over the country as well. So they, over the last few years since we've gotten into this sport, we've even seen the development get even bigger and bigger in the sport karate world. As you can see, some of these UFC fighters are now a lot of stand-up guys coming from sport karate where she's starting.
Wow. Okay. That's huge. All right, let's go get this over and done with. I'll be right back.
Get your padding. Yeah, it still is.
All right, so we're live at Raffurty's. Eric's getting his padding on.
He's-
There's Sid's kid,
He's,
your dad. You just putting a jacket on?
he's putting a Batman onesie superpowers.
Okay, oh, there you go. I should probably do it out here. Yes.
All right.
What did you get padding from? Your Batman
It's a
suit?
Batman onesie.
So when you kick her back, it's like, it wasn't me, it was Batman.
Not gonna kick her back.
Patty, I thought he was actually doing some kind of like phone or something.
Time to buy
Literally, this is like literally not what we got for you. This makes me look hilarious.
Do we have the medic on duty? Yeah, you might be careful with the hot box. So as you can see, Eric is trying to channel some Batman powers. Yes. Get on the mic real quick. So Eric's trying to channel his.
You all right there, kid?
Our Facebook Live, if you can hear me. So Eric is going to be kicked. Here we go.
Everybody back up. Is that a Batman suit? Yeah, Batman onesie.
Eric,
What?
here.
No.
Folks, hold on. We're going to
All
try
right,
to make
so I need to
sure
know-
we see Eric get kicked.
How are we doing this? Are you coming like just straight at me, or I need to know what's
I
going
think
on?
she should go straight at you.
Hey, Chip, no one asked you. I'm asking you, Sid, okay? You're not doing a crane kick in my abdomen, all right?
I think whatever she feels most comfortable.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Listen,
All right.
I'm asking Sid,
Go
not
ahead.
the peanut gallery.
All right, fine. Fine.
Sid, how are we? How am I getting kicked? I need to be prepared. So are you coming like straight at me? Are you going to side kick me? I don't know. Roundhouse? Can you just give me some type of? We can do a side kick. It's fine. Whatever. Whatever you want to do. No one asked you.
She said reach for the sky.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, Jesus.
All right. All right, let's breathe. There we go.
Can we stretch real quick?
You're
Go burpee
Batman.
or
You're
something?
fine. You're Batman. You're
Okay.
fine. All right.
All right. Come on, Sid. Let's get this. No shoes. I don't need the sole of whatever that is on the back on the imprint of my stomach. What are those? Yeah, I don't need Uggs across my stomach.
International champ took her Uggs off. She didn't want to beat you up too bad.
Okay.
Let's see if you missed the first time.
Shut up, Evan. Okay. All right, I'm ready. I don't know. This is gonna hurt. I hate all this.
He won't move, we promise.
I'm not moving. I'm not going anywhere. I promise.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Whatever. You need. Okay, I'll move up.
He can move up, yeah.
I'll move up.
She's used to running away from her.
Oh, running. No, I'm not running. No. Let's go, people. Cheer this girl on. Let's go. Come on. No, don't feel bad. Come on. I gotta do.
He's got to do it for his punishment.
Yep.
There you go.
Come on.
Finish him!
Oh!
She went easy on you. Hey!
That still hurt.
I'll go easy on him.
Chip's next.
I'm not next.
All right. Wait. You want to do one more?
Do one more.
You want to do one more?
Full force, one more. One more time.
Go ahead. I know you do, but it's okay.
Don't feel bad. He's getting punished.
You come up here and do this.
Said don't feel bad. It's all right. There.
Okay.
There you go. That was